Io, one of Jupiter's moons, has over 400 active volcanoes. Not dormant, not occasional. Active, erupting right now as you watch this. It is the most volcanically violent body in the entire solar system. More than Venus, more than Earth, more than anything we have found anywhere. This is not Io's internal heat. It is not a random accident of geology. Something outside Io is tearing it apart from the inside. That something is Jupiter's magnetic field, and it is the most violent invisible force we have ever measured. Jupiter rotates once every 10 hours. For a planet 11 times the diameter of Earth, that is fast. The equator is moving at 45,000 kilometers per hour. Deep inside that spinning mass, something unusual happens. Below the cloud layers, below the liquid hydrogen, the pressure becomes so extreme that hydrogen stops being a gas. It stops being a liquid. It becomes a metal, a conductor, flowing, circulating and spinning at the same speed as the planet above it. A spinning conductor generates a magnetic field. This is basic physics. It is the same reason Earth has a magnetic field. Liquid iron rotating at the core. Jupiter's version is not comparable to Earth's. Earth's magnetic field extends roughly 60,000 kilometers on the side facing away from the Sun. Jupiter's extends 7 million kilometers in the same direction. If you could see it with your eyes, if it had a visible edge, it would appear larger than the full moon in our night sky, seen from Earth. Jupiter's field is approximately 20,000 times stronger than Earth's. The magnetosphere, the region of space it controls, stretches 30 million kilometers end to end. It is larger than the Sun. This is not a field that deflects solar wind. This is a field that dominates an entire region of the solar system. Everything inside it is subject to it. Everything inside it is affected by it. Io orbits inside it for 4 billion years. Jupiter's magnetic field does not just sit there. Charged particles, electrons, protons, ions, get pulled into the field and trapped. Then the field's rotation accelerates them, spins them up, drives them to speeds approaching the speed of light. The result is a radiation environment unlike anything else in the solar system. At the orbit of Europa, the radiation dose rate is approximately 540 rem per day from Jupiter's trapped radiation. The Galileo spacecraft, which orbited Jupiter from 1995 to 2003, had its electronics partially destroyed by this radiation over the course of its mission, despite being shielded. By the end, several of its instruments had been degraded beyond repair. This is not background radiation. This is a machine that manufactures lethal doses and distributes them to everything nearby. And this is only the first mechanism. Io does not just orbit inside the magnetic field. It's connected to it. Jupiter's field lines pass through Io directly. As Io moves through the field, orbiting at 17 kilometers per second, it disturbs those field lines the way a boat disturbs water. That disturbance travels up the field line toward Jupiter. It creates a current, not a small current. The Io flux tube carries approximately 5 million amperes at 400,000 volts. That is more electrical current than all power generation on Earth combined. Flowing between a moon and a planet, 350,000 kilometers apart, continuously. This current does not pass through empty space harmlessly. It deposits energy directly into Io's interior. It drives heating. It drives crustal stress. Combined with the gravitational tidal forces from Jupiter and the other Galilean moons, it creates a feedback of violence that has no off switch. The model said, a moon orbits a planet. The reality, Jupiter and Io are a single electrical circuit. Io cannot leave. Its orbit is locked, held in place by gravitational resonance with Europa and Ganymede, which keeps its orbit slightly elliptical, which keeps the tidal forces cycling, which keeps the flux tube connected, which keeps the current flowing. There is no position in its orbit where the stress stops, no part of its year where Jupiter releases it. The elliptical orbit means the distance between Io and Jupiter changes constantly. And as the distance changes, the gravitational pull changes, and the interior of Io is squeezed and released over and over every 42 hours. The result is the surface you see in every image. Io's crust is being replaced faster than any other body we know. The volcanic output is so continuous that the surface is resurfaced entirely every few thousand years. Any crater that forms is buried. Any feature that develops is erased. Io cannot remember its own past. The plumes reach 500 kilometers above the surface, higher than the International Space Station orbits above Earth. The largest eruptions deposit material across areas larger than Alaska in a single event. This has been happening since the solar system was young, and it is not only Io. Europa sits one step further out. The same magnetic field surrounds it. The radiation dose at Europa's surface, 540 rem per day, means that any life in its subsurface ocean would need to survive beneath several kilometers of ice just to be shielded from what Jupiter is broadcasting outward, continuously, in all directions. The field does not distinguish between what it destroys and what it might protect. It has no such calculation. It simply runs. Jupiter's magnetic field was already running before Earth had oceans, before the first cell divided, before the first amino acid formed, before the moon finished accreting from the debris of an ancient collision. The field predates all of it. Io has been inside it the entire time, erupting, resurfacing, losing its history every few thousand years. 400 volcanoes running without pause. The field has been running for 4 billion years.